sees the memes of production, and the like and subscribe button.
When I arrived there, everybody was in a very downtrodden mood. And when I went to my computer, everybody was having some technical issues. Like none of our computers were really
hard to feel sympathy for people after the destruction of our country's begun. Yeah, it is always like, they only recognize it after the leopards started eating their face. Like, it wasn't the militant hate campaign or the, years and years of ramping up far-right fascist rhetoric or the dictatorial stuff. If you ever actually believe that Elon Musk was going to take a fine-tooth comb to government spending, you're kind of like a little bit of a retard. Well, it's not just being retarded, right? It's like you were ideologically incentivized to not pay attention to stuff because you didn't think you'd be getting hit, which was stupid because you work for the postal, oh, sorry, not postal, I thought this was USPS, IRS, and they were literally saying they were going to gut the IRS. Like, I don't know what you want.
Loading up either the programs that we needed to operate or like Teams. My story is the Teams. That's kind of how I figured out that we were getting fired today. Was when I went in, I logged into Teams, and I sent you the photo of what I saw when I went to log in. And that's when I left my cubicle and I went around to everybody else I work with. I'm like, hey, what's your Teams look like? Some were having trouble, some were able to log in. It was very, very chaotic. There was no organization to it at all. And basically we just sat around for the rest of the day.
Also, do you know how stupid you have to be a federal administrative state employee and vote Republican? The vast majority of administrative state workers outside like the FBI or whatever vote Democrat because Republicans are so openly antagonistic to the entire like purpose and function of the federal bureaucracy. They want to gut and privatize everything. Like, you have to be so... There's a reason why the majority of these people vote Democrat.
Talk about government efficiency. We literally sat there and did nothing all day long while we waited for our fate. So again, we got our email saying that we were fired after sitting around all day knowing we were fired. And then we turned in our equipment about an hour or so later, and then we were escorted out of the building.
What do you make of what happened to you and your colleagues today? We hear about 400 employees, including yourself, were laid off.
It's unfair.
Oh, yeah.
I was unemployed, so I was laid off. I was laid off before.
Now this guy is not around to audit me after I list every clothing purchase as a business expense because I've worn it on stream. Finally, I'm safe.
This job. And it took me 8 months to apply and go through all the background checks and everything I had to do to get this job.
Me.
4 months later, now I'm in the same boat I was in before. I don't know how to feel. I'm kind of numb right now. I went out to lunch with one of my buddies after immediately it happened, and what can you do at this point? Aside from reach out to the news organizations,
news. Mods! Trump did exactly what he said he was going to do, but I didn't think it would hit me. Mods! I got literally exactly what I voted for. Mods!
Our senators, reach out to our representatives. It was an illegal firing. My performance was good. I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I was even...
Dude, they don't care. They literally said they don't care. Like, it's all like me. Like, it's just because he's been aggrieved. This motherfucker wouldn't care if all the employees he didn't like got axed, Like, there's no... It's I don't know.
One of those government employees that went every day of the week. I had to report every Monday through Friday.
Listen to that. I was one of those government employees who had to go every day of the week. Not like those other lazy government employees that Elon should have cut. I was one of the good ones. I was one of the hard workers. This is literally just like the federal bureaucracy equivalent of the like Trump supporting undocumented immigrants who are like, no, he just wants to get rid of the criminals.
Day, 7 to 3:30. That was my tour duty, and that's what I served.
Tour duty.
And here I am.
Wow.
Did they give you any inkling as to is there a package that you're aware about that exists right now? Or
Well, no, not for us. I mean, I did not take that deferred resignation, which now looking back on it, it's kind of a regret. But who knows if that's even going to be honored in the end anyway, too. You know, so I just feel pretty lost. I don't know where I'm going to go forward from here. You know, I know the job market's not great right now, and what occurred today across the country is not going to help the job market.
what do you make of the Trump administration's actions?
I thought that he was. I did support him. I was a Trump supporter.
Yay.
You know, when he talks about government waste and all that, yes, I'm behind it. I believe there is a lot of stuff in the government.
Enjoy having Grok 3 process your job apps, buddy.
He's fixing. And that's part of the reason why I actually wanted to work for the government, actually, to help change the things that are wrong in the world, you know? And I thought that someone with like his business acumen
Oh my
would
God.
have
Dude, imagine supporting Trump and working for the IRS of all of the branches to work in, of all of them that you could possibly work in. That's the one you're going to support Trump from? That's insane.
in with a fine-tooth comb and actually found it, instead of coming in with a wrecking ball and destroying people's lives.
By the way, notice how his definition of coming in with a wrecking ball is him losing his job. This guy isn't even a legacy government worker. Didn't he say he'd been there for like 6 months or something?
No reason.
4 months.
Were you given a reason for the termination?
That my performance no longer fits the mission of the IRS.
Can you say whether or not your manager, your whoever, your superiors, was it very just about face, or did it seem like
No, our management was scrambling to help us today. Management and union. I can't talk good about them because of where I'm at, but I mean, they did.
What the what the is wrong with you? You can't talk good about your union and management who did nothing wrong to you because the president and his unelected vizier killed your job? Why? What do you mean? They tried to help you, but them? Fucking loser.
Did everything they could to help us today. And even some of the higher up management were sympathetic, and they understood where we were coming from. And
yeah, they weren't the ones firing you. It wasn't them. They didn't have a choice in this.
I don't think they wanted us to go either.
No shit.
Was an executive action outside of his scope of power.
Have you been able to think about what you're going to do next in terms of dealing with this situation?
Doge actually nailed it this time. Yeah, critical support to Doge for this guy's firing specifically.
Not yet. I'm still kind of digesting it. You know, I can't say it was a shock because, I mean, we've been going through this mental torment for 2.5 weeks now. So I can't say it.
Only somebody had paid attention to what was going on prior to the inauguration, you know? If only.
Like I was blindsided and I'm shocked. You know, but when the hammer finally dropped, it still hurt, you know?
Well, I'm very sorry to hear what happened to you and your colleagues.
I'm not. I'm a different kind of guy.
Is there anything else that you would
I'm much
like
more
people
vindictive.
to know that you feel is important?
Could you blow your nose more directly into the mic, please? Yeah, I'll do it next time.
Service. It's. I know we're not. Sometimes I know the IRS isn't the favorite people on the planet, but you know we fund your government. We fund your roads. We fund everything. So
you voted for him.
We're not there for us.
You literally voted for the guys saying like we want to cut the IRS and establish the ERS.
It was a job, and we tried to do it.
Piece of shit. A recession is when your neighbor's laid off. A depression is when you're laid off. True. No sympathy. Yeah, dark woke. Absolutely. Now we can go on vacation to the Gulf of America. Hey, yeah, it's not all that bad. You get the Gulf of America. Somebody linked this and asked how I felt about it. No, I will not welcome ex-MAGA to the resistance.
As I've mentioned before on...
This is an 18-minute video. I'm not watching it. You can't welcome or not welcome anyone to a social movement. Where they go is up to them, okay? But one thing you guys gotta understand is that selectively applied vindictiveness and spite can actually do a lot to motivate people. Think of how many young men are pushed to the right by watching all of the spite directed at feminism or soy boys or whatever the f else, you know? Infinite undying hatred to the right and all those who are a part of it. But if there are people who want to like quietly tiptoe over and pretend they were never on the right, or like, you know, make a big deal, fall to their knees, proselytize, whatever else, I don't really give a shit. I'm not like, well, I can't enter or not enter anyone. There's no admission into a social movement. You are or you aren't. You believe what you believe. You don't believe what you don't believe. You should be very spiteful, though. That's the important part. You know, you should be very spiteful. It's good for the heart. I love this, but in Latino? What the f does that mean? I love this, but in Latino? Do you think Latino is a language? What are you talking about? I love this, but in like black, and then it's a black guy who fell for it? What are you talking about? Making me look bad. I love this, but in gay? That's true. Oh, that's pretty true. Being spiteful would push them away? Nah, well, it depends on how you do it, you know? You kind of have to be like spiteful against the, you have to be spiteful against the group and spiteful against like certain sacrificial lambs, but not individually spiteful to every single person who might move over. Does that make any sense? Like, the right has the right idea on this, where you want to be antagonistic towards the left as a group and towards specific prominent, you know, focuses of attention on the left. But if a guy moves from the left to the right, you don't attack him for being formerly on the left. You're like, welcome, brother. Welcome to the anti-woke resistance or whatever, you know? It's just shame motivates people in the right direction. Everyone who votes for Trump should be, I mean, shame honestly is them getting away with things like lightly, to be fair. Like if the worst you feel after supporting Trump is shame, like that's the worst thing that happens to you, I'd say the universe cut you a pretty sweet deal with that one, okay? I mean, you know, that's a lot of text, Kowalski. I don't know, kind of feel like the passive-aggressive feminist didn't help much with terms of discourse and praxis. I have no idea what you mean by passive-aggressive feminist. I'm not talking about passive-aggressive. I'm talking about aggression. What do you mean passive-aggressive? When am I ever passive-aggressive? That was a bit passive-aggressive? What was? You see Pete Hegseth evicted CNN from the Pentagon? Yes, I saw that. If the left were like poor baby, come over to the left and sucked up to white Trump supporters like the right did, you get more of them? I don't actually think that's true. I actually don't think you would get more of them. I genuinely think that we live in a meaner world than most people on the left are willing to acknowledge, and people are more motivated by a desire to avoid being part of the outgroup, the cringe, the like shamed outgroup, than they are to be like coddled. You know, like the coddling and the pulling them over. Yeah, like being aggressive works all the time. You look at history, it works, you know? There's not really many historical counterexamples where a big political movement in desperate times was like, we're going to kind of like coddle everyone. And then like that works, you know? I don't think that's usually I don't think that's the direction you need to go in. If anything, you're just kind of like postponing their ostracization from society, which they should be. They should be isolated until they stop being Nazis, you know? Like, oh, your kids won't call you, your friends won't talk to you? Well, you kind of deserve that.